Hey guys, before we start this podcast, I just wanted to let you know that this episode was recorded during the 21-day lockdown period in India because of the COVID 19 situation. The conversation between me and my friend Rithik Nair takes place over Hangouts, hence, the audio quality might not be the best. And also, I really hope that you're keeping at home, you're keeping it safe, and you are not forgetting that it is really important right now to look out for each other because the only thing that is more contagious than this virus is our love for each other and the mutual understanding. Take care. Hello, everyone. This is Yashatishay coming to you from his bedroom because COVID 19 is real, quarantine is real, and with me is Rithik.
And I'm Rithik, and today we are going to talk about the movie. What's the name of the movie?
Contagion.
Contagion. Yeah. So you can see from my behavior that I don't remember the movie's name, although I watched it yesterday night, because I felt it wasn't that up to the mark. So yes, how about
Such
go for you?
a spoiler, such a spoiler. But before we get to the movie, how are you doing, man? It's been what, 2 weeks since we met? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
true
It's
that.
almost 2 weeks since we are completely locked in our homes, absolutely
Mhm.
quarantined. So how's quarantine going for you, man?
So quarantine, I thought I'll be able to, experiment with a lot of things, but it has turned out to be not that easy because I'm having to cook myself, which I'm not used to.
Uh-huh.
So my neighbor is helping me out,
Oh, your neighbors are helping you in
and
cooking?
no, they are directly preparing the food and bringing it to my
Oh, that's actually
flat for
really
this one.
sweet. That's really sweet of them, to be honest.
Yeah, and no Maggie packets are available. But yes, but one good thing that happened to me was I had installed this editing software in my laptop. In fact, you had installed it for me, DaVinci Resolve,
Uh-huh.
and on that uh, I did some experiment. I tried to edit a video, and yeah, it was a good
Oh, so
experience.
you're
So
experimenting
that's
with
working for me.
editing these days?
It was just one experiment. I don't know. Like in the next few days, I might come up with something else.
Okay.
I'm trying to, make the time pass by reading or
Okay.
watching so many TV shows that I had, postponed for myself.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
What have you been doing?
I am absolutely loving quarantine. Damn it, I was born for quarantine. God made me ready for quarantine, man. God made me this way. I am
Mm,
actually really loving quarantine, to be honest. Like, I don't see what the fuss is all about, man. I am absolutely loving this. This is
mm,
brilliant. You don't have to go out, you don't have to meet people. Nobody can call you and say, hey, let's meet up. Earlier, people would say, hey, let's meet up. And then you would have to disappoint them by saying no. Now, nobody even
mm,
asks. This is just perfect, according to me. Like, you wake up whenever you want, you get to work as much as you wish. Nobody is expecting you to show up anywhere at, I don't know, 10 in the morning or something.
mm.
I am absolutely loving quarantine, man.
So is that when you watched the movie, The Contagion,
Um,
during the quarantine?
okay, so I watched the movie Contagion because it's just getting really famous right now. I think what it is, the world's most streamed movie right now, just because people are
Oh.
absolutely losing their minds. So I was like, hey, let's see what all the fuss is about. And if so many people are watching it, I think a lot of people will find a podcast about it quite relatable. And yeah, I'm trying to do my best to make as much quarantine content as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, there is a lot of Maggie in the stores, man. I don't know what kind of stores are you going to, but I have been able to find a lot of Maggie around here in Navi Mumbai, in Vashi.
Looks like I'll have to go out today evening. Let's
Have
see.
you been to Big Bazaar yet? I'm sure they would have a lot of Maggie.
Ha ha ha! I've not yet been there. but today evening I'll be going out because I've exhausted my
Oh,
supplies.
okay,
I'll
okay,
have to,
okay,
yeah.
okay, okay. Actually, even here, the smaller the medical stores, especially the whole wellness chain, the ones that stay open
Hmm.
24/7, they ran out of stock much earlier because they stay open 24/7. A lot of people go there; they become the go-to. And I think since they are smaller stores and they focus more on pharmaceuticals, on the medicines and everything, I
Yeah.
think they didn't have a lot of stock to begin with. But if you go to the supermarkets, like there is Hypercity. I went there and they have like alleys and alleys full of Maggie there.
Maggie?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Not just Maggie,
Mm.
bro. You won't believe it. The next thing, you can't even guess. An alley full of, guess what?
Toilet
Yes,
papers?
toilet paper. There's so much toilet paper,
Oh.
man. There's so much toilet paper.
Mm.
I almost passed
Actually,
out.
as Indians, we shouldn't need toilet paper, but I don't know what's happening to maybe the people who go to hypercity are a lot more westernized
Uh,
in terms of
no, I don't
washing
think
their
so.
asses.
I don't think so. Actually, for context, like most Indians use their hands and water to wipe their bums, and hence I think
Mm.
India is not facing any shortage of toilet paper because there's just not enough demand.
Yeah, true that. The left hand is more than enough.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's one way to put it. Um,
Yes.
but we are definitely facing shortages of hand sanitizers
Uh-huh.
and
Hmm.
masks. I've heard so, which is weird. Which
Hmm.
is weird because
Let's see. Yeah.
yeah, when you think about it, soap and water is more effective at killing different viruses than sanitizer is.
Hmm.
So I don't see the reason why people are just hoarding sanitizers, especially now that you're not even allowed to go outside. You're all day in your home. You have access to water. Use some soap. And it doesn't even have to
Yeah.
be a special soap. Do you know that? It can be like the most basic soap, even the one that you use to, wash clothes or maybe clean your dishes.
Mhm.
Even that soap is fairly effective at killing viruses.
But after watching the movie Contagion, I, I have become a bit more afraid to, even touch other places where someone else might have already, left their imprints or something like that. Because what if like the hand wash ads or the soap ads that they show in the televisions, that 1% germ that is remaining, that could turn out to be COVID-19 and it could fuck us up.
I think that's a lot of paranoia. I think that's a lot of
Mhm.
paranoia.
Yeah.
And of course, if you go out, I don't think there's any way that you can avoid absolute contact with any surface than anybody else has touched. Of course, if you're going out, there's gonna be surfaces that a lot of other people have touched. That's how this world works. And that's why I think it is really important to wash your hands.
Okay.
And yeah,
Mhm.
keep touching your face, which I have realized every time someone tells me don't touch your face, all of a sudden you start having an itch in your eye. I don't know.
Mm, yeah.
And I'm having one now.
Mm. So yeah, you can keep your fork or a spoon aside just for this purpose. I think that should do. Mm-hmm.
True. So what else about quarantine, man? What else? How's your family? How's everyone else?
Yeah, so my family is in Saudi Arabia, and there the measures have been much stricter, and they have declared holidays long back, like before India declared its Section 144 of the lockdown.
Okay.
The Saudi government has taken the initiative and asked all the teachers and all the office goers, students, and all just to sit at home and not get in contact with anybody. And if you're caught, the fine is huge. It's a hefty
Oh.
one. So, and just like it is in many autocratic nations, the government, the citizens or the residents won't even dare to question or disobey, unlike it's happening in our country. But actually, it's working for them. It's
Okay.
working for them
Okay.
because of that fear. People are actually staying at homes, and yeah, and they are chilling, and in a way, they are helping to not spread the virus.
In fact, I think it's working fairly well in India as well. I think like for the past 1 week, I think the streets are like very empty. At least like the view outside my balcony, it's
Uh,
deserted. It's deserted out there. Barely
yeah.
in the evenings you see some people. They're walking their dogs. Maybe a few
Mm.
people, but and a few people are walking to the medical stores for medicines. Other than that, yeah, I at least as far as I've seen, things look really deserted.
Hmm. The best part, which I felt, like two things I felt about the quarantine thing, like although maybe the people might not consider the instructions seriously, many celebrities and social media influencers are coming with posts and videos to spread the awareness, and people might listen to them even more compared to the instructions given by the government, at least in a nation like ours. And the second and the most important thing is the air is getting so much cleaner.
Yeah, even I've noticed that. Even I've noticed that.
Mhm. Hmm. So yeah, I was able to, earlier in the evening there's a specific time when the fumes of the, I don't know, factories from the nearby suburb, or the smoke from the vehicles, you can smell it. You can smell the sulfur in the air, but
Yeah.
now it's
Yeah. In
like
Navi Mumbai,
oxygen,
especially,
oxygen.
in Navi Mumbai, especially, there's this time at night. I think that's where a
Hmm.
lot of factories just emit all the pollutions that they are not really supposed to. I think so.
Yeah.
I think like
Hmm.
that's when they are like, oh, it's dark and nobody will notice, and so poop out all the pollution. Maybe you can
Hmm.
really smell that. You can really smell that. But
Yeah.
that's not happening as much these days. I've heard a lot of factories are shut because workers are not coming because of the whole
Hmm.
lockdown. And of
Yeah.
course, there's a very small fraction of vehicles on the road now compared to what it used to be.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
barely you see like 5 cars throughout the day.
Yeah. So yeah, the factory workers, I think the government has also taken the steps to ensure that all the all the lower middle class workers and people who don't have a shelter and all, to cover them, the government is taking initiatives. I don't know if they'll be able to cover everybody, but yes, the government is at least taking measures for
Oh
that.
yeah, that's a problem with a country like ours, with a country like India. We are not a
Hmm.
developed country, so it's not like the government has huge amounts of funds just sitting with them. And the other
Hmm.
problem is the population is huge. The population is diverse. I think there's a lot of people like you and me who belong to the middle class who can
Yeah.
do just fine, who can do just
Yes.
fine.
Yes.
Then there are some people who are incredibly rich. They are insanely, drippingly rich. They just have a lot
Hmm.
of money, a lot of resources in every way, every shape and form. And then there's really poor, how do I put it? People who are below the poverty line, people who are barely scraping by even in good times. Before the whole
Hmm.
COVID-19 thing began, the economy was really frothy across the globe, not just in India. But even those times, they were just barely making by. Uh, I think, yeah, it's really
And,
difficult for a government to come up with a solution that can work effectively for everyone.
and that statement of yours, you just said some people are dripping in money. That just reminded me of, the fact that I don't know whether it's a hoax or a true fact, but Mukesh Ambani explored 21 rooms in his house during the lockdown, which he had not been previously before.
Such a first
When
world problem, if you ask me.
so
Uh,
it just shows ki his house is a 21 plus BHK, of which 21 bedrooms he had not yet
we
explored.
are talking about Antalya, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, we are talking
Antalya is
about
the
India.
most expensive private residence on the face of this planet.
Hmm.
Second most expensive, I think either it is the second most expensive house, or it is a house that employs second most number of people, as in domestic helpers after Buckingham
Hmm.
Palace.
Okay.
So, uh, of course, and guessing how big of a businessman he is, how busy he is, uh,
Yeah.
I don't think it comes to me as a surprise that he can have 20 something rooms in his house which he has never been to.
But there's one good thing about Reliance, to all those employees who are earning less than 30,000. My friend told me, I'm not sure about the
Okay.
figures. To all those who are earning less than 30,000 per month, Reliance has doubled the salary
Oh, that's really sweet.
until this situation has been until this situation gets under control, or COVID-19 has been totally eliminated or something
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
yes.
I think a lot of these companies are doing really beautiful things. Apple has promised that they will be matching employee donation 2:1, which means if any Apple employee donates $1, Apple will donate $2 for that.
Okay.
And I think they have already crossed 20 million, which is I think
Okay.
which is just
Mhm.
beautiful. I have heard on the internet. I'm not sure, but I've heard that Taj Hotels is sending packets of food for free for all the doctors and nurses and all the medical professionals working right now to help us fight COVID-19.
Okay. Mhm.
So yeah, I really think a lot of these companies. In fact, Amazon has stopped delivering, all the electronics, phones, laptops, everything that is unessential. Amazon is focusing all of its power, all of its capacity to delivering things like medicines, hand washes, sanitizers, masks, all the basic necessities right now. So I
Mhm.
think even that is really brilliant.
Yeah. So regarding Amazon, the fact was, I read it. I guess it has been more than a year or so since I've read it. So Amazon had filed a patent for a for a warehouse which is structured like a beehive.
Okay.
All right. So that warehouse, which is structured like a beehive, it has got small holes. And what happens is
Mm-hmm.
the drones come and go out of those holes carrying packages.
Okay.
They'll deliver to the houses and come back. So this was a futuristic kind of technology which was patented by Amazon.
And now they're applying it
So
to rapidly deliver products.
no, I don't, I
Oh, okay,
don't, I
just
don't know
randomly.
whether
Okay.
they're applying, but yeah, this is the time where such technology would help.
True, true,
You
true,
know,
true that, true
so
that.
I don't know why Amazon is not doing it, or they are probably all have already started to use that.
You never
But
know. You
yeah.
never know in such systems. I'm sure Amazon and every other company out there is doing the best that they can. In
Mhm.
fact, I'm really
Even.
sure humanity as a whole is doing the best that it can to survive right now.
Mhm.
I think,
And even some firms like Cisco has a platform called WebEx,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
which
they have made it free.
up
Yeah,
till some
so,
100 users or something, right?
yeah, it's a video conferencing
Yeah, I think
platform.
that is beautiful. I think one thing that it has this whole COVID-19 pandemic has taught us is we as humans are just like any other animal. Uh, if you have ever sprayed one of those pesticide things that kills cockroaches, the moment you spray it, all the
Mm-hmm.
cockroaches run and hide in their corners, in their little hiding places. Do you
Mm-hmm.
realize that's what we all are doing right now? We all
Hmm.
are hiding in our own corners, in our own homes. It's such a humbling incident, such a humbling realization that though we might think we are really smart and we have landed a man on the moon and sent I don't know how many rovers on Mars and whatever, but we are still just another animal, just a part of this huge food chain, this whole
Hmm.
ecosystem. And no matter what we do, we will never stand out. We are a part of this ecosystem.
Okay. So yeah, I think for me, it has been a realization that you are alone responsible for taking care of your own health, and yeah, I mean, you should be much more aware of your aware of the fact that you're mortal.
Oh yeah,
So
this has definitely
I
made us realize that we are all mortals,
yeah.
mere mortals.
Mm.
Talking about mere mortals, let's talk about this very forgetful movie. Let's be honest.
Yes.
It's a. I don't think it's a.
Contagion.
I don't think, to be honest, it's a bad movie. I think it is a decent movie.
It's a decent
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just being blown out of proportions because of the current pandemic, and
Yeah.
because even in this movie the virus spreads by touch.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, they have drawn a lot of parallels to the current situation. Though the movie was released in 2011,
Mhm.
but there are times when this movie, the directors, the scriptwriters have done really good research, and the movie really talks, and it talks sense, I think.
Okay. Mhm. So, uh, yeah, but being a movie directed by Steven Soderbergh, who has also directed films like Ocean's 11, which has been well researched, but at the same time, the cinematic feel of it's like next level. So yeah, I expected a bit of something more from him, but still, some scenes they were really impactful. In conveying as to how such a situation could affect not only the individual but the entire society. People's behavior starts changing, and they become much more selfish, and stuff like that. So it was also, I guess, a movie on, like, on human behavior as to what could happen to us if we are under a lot of
Uh-huh.
stress and our survival is in question.
Uh-huh. It is true. It is true. The movie shows a lot about human behavior, but I also think to some extent it is really exaggerated, or
Okay.
at least well, it is exaggerated, or at least we haven't seen such things happen yet. For instance, that time when they say we can only give out 15 or 50 something doses, and the people lose their shit and they break the line, they start pushing, they
Yeah.
they break
Correct.
in and they try to steal as much as they can. So people break the laws and try to steal as much as they can from pharmacies, from supermarkets. Is a thing which is shown in a lot of these kind of movies. Even in a zombie movie, that's where it generally starts. Like the moment zombie apocalypse begins, people are running around with their trolleys in a supermarket. There is no billing queue anymore. People just put things in the trolley and run away.
Mm-hmm. All
I
right.
I I don't know. Have you seen something like this happen, or is there news of things like these happening yet?
No, I see that was on a global scale. The way it was shown in the movie, the scale was, it was much more, much large. It was in such a scale where everybody had to be supplied with a vaccine. So I don't think that would be the case in the real world. And this is one fact which I feel it's very important and worth highlighting, that the governments understand this fact. Why is the Indian government, introducing a relief package? Why has Trump signed off on a $2 trillion relief
Yeah,
package
yeah, yeah. As much
for the
of an
citizens who have been
asshole
affected the
Trump
most?
is, as an asshole Trump is,
Yeah.
and as much as he tried to underplay uh,
Mm.
the consequences and the problems of COVID-19. By the way, if you're a Trump admirer and you have been offended
Uh,
that I just called him an
mhm.
asshole, you can just fuck off.
So the fact is, they know that if let's say if the people are not being given services, and if it's a huge mass of people, such outbreaks could happen.
That is
They
true.
could run
That
into,
is
they
true.
could conduct bank runs. I don't know. They probably, before bank runs, the first thing that would they would do is, just invade the supermarkets and take all the necessities. People might start robbing each other. People might start, the already professional robbers might be at their best and just
They might
just robbing
outskill all
five
of
to
us.
five, yeah, 5 to 7. Hey, how much houses did you rob? One. We are professional robbers. I robbed 10. So things like that would happen. Yeah.
um, I think you're right. Governments do understand this, and uh, at least the Indian government has been acting swiftly and rapidly. I'm not saying they're doing the
Mm,
best. I'm sure there's things that can be done better, but now is not the
yeah.
time to blame anyone. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, I am sure that there's a lot of limitations. Even though you are a government, there is only so much, and especially if you're an Indian government, there's only so much funds you can have. There are only so many funds you already have. There are so many people, and there's so much logistic issues in our country. Let's be honest.
Okay.
Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like India is not America. India is not England. India is not any other country in Europe. Most countries in Europe, for the matter of fact, have the land area, as in the area of the country is equivalent or lesser than some states in India. I'm not sure about the
Okay.
exact numbers, but I'm sure India
Mm-hmm.
is almost the size, if not more, the size of Europe in terms of the amount of land that it covers. And I'm very certain that it is same in case of population, and that really makes it very difficult for one government to make sure everybody gets proper resources, everybody is fed, everything is taken care of. That's really difficult. There are stories of different state governments trying different approach right now.
Okay.
But I think in general, the whole case of an absolute chaos has been. I don't know if I don't think anything like that has happened, like where people have broken in and stolen, robbed supermarkets and pharmacies. I don't think that has happened yet in India, not that I know of,
Hmm.
and which is
You know,
really
I guess,
commendable. Which is really commendable.
yeah. And the other thing is, I guess that information has been deeply imprinted into people's minds that if you if a group of people try to rob a bank and if one of them has got COVID-19, then you should not go to rob that bank or the supermarket.
In that case, plans
Yeah.
cancelled. Okay, no robbing the bank.
No. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think the movie has a lot of lazy filmmaking, a lot of just.
Okay.
I think a lot of just like the script writing team and the director was just sitting and they were brainstorming. How do we show this? In the first scene you see this chick sitting at the airport and talking on the phone, and then she goes back, she catches a flight, and then you see a lot of how do I put it, a montage, let's say,
Hmm.
where
Okay.
there's music, there's people getting sick, there's people getting ill, and them dying. The Asian guy, he goes home, he's really
Yeah.
ill, he just falls asleep, wakes up, somehow still
Hmm.
goes out for some reason, and then gets killed,
Yeah.
getting run over by a truck. There's this another Asian guy.
Yeah.
It's really funny that I don't know. I
Uh-huh.
think they were just sitting brainstorming, and they were like,
Yeah.
"How do we show the spread of this disease? The first few cases." And
Mhm.
they were
Let's
like,
blame it on China.
I don't know. How do we show it? We need to show that this guy met this guy met this guy. Somehow the virus got spread, and they were like, dude, that's a lot of work. Okay. And they were like, okay, let's just make it a montage. Let's just make it a quick, like, few second montage. Let's put like nice tense music in the background and call it a day. I really think, it was really lazy filmmaking. They could have very well shown some story development there, but they didn't.
Yeah.
But they
So
didn't.
that.
They didn't. They
Okay.
were just like, let's put nice music in and forget about it.
Okay. Mm. Yeah, but that fact, it actually, I don't know, I shouldn't say bothered me, but yeah, whenever you have a problem, just blaming it on
Oh
China,
yeah, the fact that
although it is a fiction,
this movie
but
is incredibly racist. Oh yeah,
yes.
this movie is insanely racist. Have you noticed? Everyone in this movie who's Asian is either a bad guy kidnapping people, getting sick and dying on a bus, or getting run over by another bus or a truck.
Yeah.
Like all Chinese people, all Asian people in this movie are either getting sick or dying, getting run over or
Mm.
dying, or are trying to kill others.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe the NSA or CIA sponsored this movie just so that
Uh,
our president, our president is facing some bad trade deals with the
China.
nation in the East. Let's make a movie and blame them so that
To be honest,
5 years hence in 2020,
I
yeah.
don't think
Hmm.
by 2011 China and US were in a trade war. I think the trade war
No,
really
no, no.
started in 2018, I believe.
There's always a problem with China, whether be it a trade war or be it something else.
I don't know, man. I'm just
So,
not qualified
hmm,
enough in world politics. But I think this movie was insanely racist, okay?
okay, yeah, it was next level racist. Mm,
Um, but one thing is that this movie had an incredible cast. They had some
yeah.
really good actors,
Hmm.
uh, but the lazy filmmaking and it seemed like they could have made it a two-part movie or a two-part like a mini series, a mini web series like Chernobyl. Instead, they were very amendant on making it a 2-hour movie, which really made this movie seem very weird. At times, the
Hmm.
story goes really fast. At times, it just goes very slow.
Yeah, and the gravity with which they have shown the situation. I mean, not the situation, the effect of the virus, and afterwards when the vaccine has been founded, it just doesn't feel like they have achieved a magic vaccine or something like that. It just it's something normal. Yeah, I had to make a vaccine. I made a vaccine. It felt something like that. The true value of the vaccine, how much it could better the lives of everybody. It was not highlighted.
I think there was just not enough time for me as audience to, sit and bask in the current situation, like
Mm-hmm.
you need to soak your audience into the situation, into the times, it's like I don't know, how do I put it, man? If there needs to be some setup, there needs to be some really nice setup. There is no scene in the beginning where the world is normal, and then eventually this virus comes in, and then things start going to chaos. The very start of the movie, things just start with the chaos. I'm like, it makes it very unrelatable and very, I can't
Mm-hmm.
empathize with people. I can't empathize with the whole world, the cinematic world, so to speak,
Yeah.
because there's nothing relatable there. I think it could have been a mini series like Chernobyl, and it would have worked really well. Give it like
Yeah.
some, 3 4 episodes, each an hour long. That would have made it, that would have given me as audience to, soak up more of the emotions and the situation and think a little about it, process it in my head. Right now it was all just very fast. It just starts with her coughing on a
Okay.
phone, just goes on the flight. Doesn't make sense. Also, another thing, I don't know, this is my curiosity about both the movie and the real world, but more so about the movie. I'm sure you have flown international, right? You've traveled internationally across the borders.
Yeah.
Have you noticed at the airport, if you're flying international, the authorities check you for a truckload of things, both in terms of your education and finance and everything, and also in terms of your health. They make you go a zillion kind of tests. They make sure you don't have any disease.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Have you experienced that as well, or was it just me?
So no, I don't. I have never faced such tests of extreme scrutiny or something
It's
like
not
that.
an
But
extreme
yeah,
scrutiny, but they make you undergo a few tests to make sure that you're not carrying any disease. It's not a very
okay.
clinical test, but there are some tests.
So I've observed this with people who try to go abroad to work in other countries.
Mm-hmm.
So as expatriates. So for them, it's a case of seeking permanent residency there and working over there. So for them, a medical test is definitely mandatory, and it's getting tougher. It gets tougher, and the rules and regulations get more stringent as it is a more developed country.
Okay, or maybe you
Like
didn't go through a.
migrating to the Middle East is much easier than
Okay,
migrating to the US or something. At least if the parameter that you're taking is the health of the individual.
okay. I actually faced it while traveling to UK. Traveling
Okay.
to UK,
Mhm.
so they had me undergo not the most clinical tests, but there were still a battery of tests that I had to undergo in order to make sure that I'm not carrying any disease. Now, in case
Okay.
now in the real world, in our case of COVID-19, I can understand how a lot of people ended up flying across the globe, um, and they might have passed through all of these tests because there's cases of people who have COVID-19 who didn't show symptoms for a very long time.
Oh.
Yeah, like the
Mhm.
incubation period is anywhere from between 4 days to 24 days. So I'm sure if I'm infected, or there were a lot of people who were infected who flew internationally and ended up spreading these disease. And since they were not showing any symptoms, it didn't come up in any tests.
Mhm.
Um
Yeah.
but how does it end up happening in the movie? Because in the movie, as it is shown, anyone with the virus almost instantaneously catches incredible fever. They have a crazy
Yeah.
fever. They have nausea. They have they can't see straight. They become delusional. So
Uh-huh. Yeah.
fever and nausea is something that is one of those things that they test when you're flying internationally.
Okay.
In fact, I think fever is something that they all test. Like fever is a very
Okay. Yeah.
basic thing that is, and since they start showing symptoms almost instantaneously in the movie, I don't get it. How was the lady allowed to fly?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. True that.
I don't know. Maybe she was flying on a private jet or something, and I don't know. I've never been on a private jet, but maybe if you do, you don't have to undergo any test because it's your jet after
Yeah.
all. Maybe, I
Mm.
don't know, but I found that end loose.
Yeah.
And in fact, have you?
And that chef didn't die.
Oh yeah, somehow the
That chef,
chef.
that chef didn't die. That chef was supposed to die first.
Yeah, I don't get it. Maybe he died. They never showed us that.
Yeah.
See, that is the problem with this movie. It has insane amounts of loose ends that just
Uh,
are there for no good reason. Have you noticed when this guy gets off the bus? This lady
yeah.
calls him and says, "Get off the bus. You might be infected." And
Yeah.
he gets off the bus. There's close-ups of there's lingering close-ups of him touching the pole and everything. In fact,
Yeah.
there's a lot of lingering close-ups of a lot of people touching a lot of different surfaces. Never
Yeah.
leads to anything. The
Mm.
whole close up, the whole point is that you can show that he touched the pole and then he got down, and then I don't know, maybe school kids got on the bus and they were all touching and playing around the pole and they were all being jolly like kids are, and then all of them get affected. Nope,
Mm.
nada, zip, nothing.
Yeah.
The whole pole thing goes nowhere. In fact, the whole point of lingering touches, the lingering close-ups of touching a surface, goes nowhere throughout the whole movie. People just touch things because I don't know. They wanted to touch things. That's why.
Mm. And I guess it tried to show the gravity of the situation by showing that first Matt Damon lost his wife, and then when he went to the hospital, simultaneously he lost his son. But it didn't convey quite an impact. I mean, actually, the person would should go haywire, or he should go hysterical after something like this happened. So
Agreed. Agreed.
I don't know, that was no, it was strong, but it should have been stronger considering what happened. So
So I
yeah,
sort of knew the. I sort of knew the plot of the movie before I started watching. I knew it's about this disease that spreads just the way coronavirus is spreading, and it kills a lot of people, and the whole world goes in a downward spiral, just the way our world is going right now.
mm,
Um, and I knew that it has Matt Damon and a lot of great actors. And then I see Matt Damon, and I see that his wife gets killed, and then his son gets killed, and he is mutated in a way that he cannot get the virus. And I was like, perfect.
yeah,
I
right.
was like, perfect. He is now gonna be a protagonist. He's gonna be the hero, and he's gonna kick the ass of this virus, man. He's gonna solve this. He's gonna save the world because, dude, a
Mm,
guy who can get himself back from Mars can definitely save this world. Okay,
yes, true
guess
that.
what? He's just there for no fucking reason. He's just there. He's
Mm,
just Matt Damon is just being Matt Damon. He's not being
yeah,
Matt Damon. He's
the only contribution he made was he protected his daughter from Andrew.
but they ended up dancing together at the end. I don't
Yes,
know.
after he got that wristband.
Dude, he's just being an annoying father, okay? Like Matt Damon,
Mm.
from your teenage daughter's side, I would like to say, get the fuck out of my room, okay? Mind your own business, bro. Let me kiss the guy I wanna kiss. Like, come on.
Mm,
I don't know. I
right,
don't
right,
know.
right.
There's dude, that Matt Damon could have been played by anyone in that movie. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Matt Damon is a bad actor. I think he's a brilliant actor, and he did the role really
Mhm.
well. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's Matt Damon. He did it really well, but the character didn't justify Matt Damon.
Okay.
Like, dude, if I get, I don't know, let's imagine we are making a movie and I get Amitabh Bachchan. I signed up Amitabh Bachchan for a certain role.
Okay.
You can guess the role is gonna have a certain gravity to it. It's gonna be an impactful role, even if it might as well be the most important role, the protagonist of the movie. But if it's not that, it's gonna be an important, impactful role that matches the caliber of Amitabh Bachchan.
Okay.
I won't get Amitabh Bachchan to do an extra in a dance video on Gundam style. This was that.
Mhm.
This was like asking Matt Damon to dance as an extra in Gundam style.
Hmm. All right.
I'm not
Makes
saying he
sense.
did a bad job at it, but come on. In fact, that's the whole story with all the actors in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know his wife. How do you pronounce her name? Gwetnet Platrov. I don't know who.
Let's call up Pepper Potts for now so that people can understand her
Yeah,
better.
yeah, yeah. I think for the Pepper Potts role,
She was perfect.
I think she did a very good job in that role in Iron Man and on the whole trilogy.
Yeah.
And then you give her
So,
this role where oh my god, I just don't
yeah,
get it. I think they
mm,
got really good actors, but they really invested very little in building character, uh,
yeah,
or using the character. Like they built Matt Damon fairly well. The character building
mm,
for Matt Damon's character was fairly good, but it
yeah.
never came to any
But
fruition.
they didn't. I don't think they needed such. I don't know, such a starry cast. I mean, some of them were fine, but so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you. Just too many good stars for a movie which is
yeah.
just not worth it. The story, which is just not worth it. I don't think the story was there. Matt Damon's character could have come to fruition a lot better. The character arc was just not complete. He
Okay.
doesn't seem motivated. He doesn't seem
Mm,
driven by the fact that he lost his child and wife.
okay.
We don't even know what does he do for a living. What does Matt Damon do
Sure.
for a living in the movie? We don't know that.
Yeah.
He's just somebody existing.
Yeah. So, I guess, but one scene, I don't like, is it how that child managed to do it? It was really a scary look when the child died, and I noticed his eyeballs. That he had to stay still for, I don't know, 5 seconds or 6 seconds to show that he was dead. And it was a very serious expression on his face. I don't know how that child managed to pull it up, but
I don't know that
that was a very
either.
strong thing.
I
Yeah.
think the child did a really
Mhm.
good job of at acting
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. 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 Mm.
That is if he acted it out, and it was not a computer.
Real murder.
Yeah, yeah, it could have been a computer added graphic thingy, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, but I think let's give this movie some credits where it is due. I think
Yeah.
this was a whole nerdgasm movie, man. They had like a lot of technical terms that are used in the medical profession, especially when
Okay.
dealing with a new outbreak, a pandemic like COVID-19 right now. For instance,
Mhm.
they use a term called R naught,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
which is an
Mm.
actual term used to define, if one person is infected, how many other people he can infect.
Hmm. Yeah. So that was, I guess, one good genuine information that people can take
The
from the
movie is
movie.
really full of this kind of things. If you paid attention, while doing the research, while inside the lab, they wear this orange suit, which is
Yeah.
all blown up like a balloon.
Mm-hmm.
That's a positive pressure suit. What
Okay.
that means is, if you have paid attention, those were those yellow hoses that were pumping air connected to the hose. So,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, connected to the suit. So, what these hoses do, they're connected to supply of clean, purified air. Like it goes through HEPA filter and everything to make sure it's clean. And this clean air is pumped inside the suit. So, what happens if by mistake, something goes wrong and there's a hole in the suit, or there's some sort of rupture somewhere? Basically, the
Mm-hmm.
pressure inside the suit will push the air out. So if there is any virus outside, it gets pushed away instead of getting to come in, which is
Okay.
which is a standard practice used in these type of medical research facilities. Of course, I had to like
Mm-hmm.
Google it to figure it out. So
Okay.
I think that's really cool. I think that's really cool. Positive pressure suits.
Mm-hmm. And even while discussing about the, that I don't know that an experiments that they were doing, they used really complex terminologies. I mean, which would have been used in the real world too. They have research from that, and.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's what
Uh,
I'm saying.
yeah.
This movie is a huge nerdgasm. If you are
Mhm.
somebody like me, likes technical terms, like figuring out what are these technical things and what is this terminology, make sure you have like Chrome open in one tab, when you're watching the movie because there's a lot
Yeah.
that you're gonna have to Google up.
Hmm.
Did I just say Chrome open in a tab? I meant Google open in a tab. Not Chrome.
Uh,
Chrome is for peasants. Chrome is for those
hmm.
who use Windows, I tell you.
Acha. Okay.
Not making that, not making an Apple joke yet. Saving that for the Jojo Rabbit video, Jojo Rabbit podcast, because
Okay.
Mr. How do I pronounce his name, man? He has a really difficult name, if you ask me, Mr.
Chaika Waititi.
Yeah, Taika Waititi, the director of Jojo Rabbit. When he won the Oscars,
Yeah.
he made this joke that Apple needs to really improve their keyboards.
True that.
I think I'm really gonna roast him on that one, man. What do you think? You can't make joke of Apple.
Hmm.
That's just not allowed. Anyhow,
Hmm.
let's save it for
Yeah.
that episode. Hint, hint,
Hmm.
spoilers for what is coming.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Hmm.
where were we again? Yeah, so this movie is full of these technical terms all over the place. Uh, Seems like they have done really good research in that. They have
Hmm.
done a lot of homework there,
Yeah.
which is all the way more confusing to me. If you did so much research and homework there, why were you lazy at just basic filmmaking things? It doesn't really seem like a Steven Soderbergh movie, to be honest.
Yeah. It felt like it was a pet project or
It's
something like
not a
that,
pet
which.
project. It seemed like he gave his intern some work to do.
Ah. Yes.
So Pepper Potts. Pepper Potts, when she's sick, she comes back home, and in the very beginning, of course, before she dies, which is in the very beginning,
Yeah.
there's a POV of her. She can see a cup of coffee. She's hallucinating really bad, and she goes to grab the cup of coffee and she drops it.
Mhm.
So the
Okay.
fun part is in her POV, when she sees the cup of coffee, the cup is full of black coffee. Okay, but when she
Okay.
drops it, if you hear the sound, it breaks and it sounds like an empty cup.
Hmm.
Why?
She
Because you
she
wanted to
might have
save
thought of
one cup of
drinking
coffee.
the entire black coffee before dying at least.
God,
Hmm.
what? Just why? Like, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. If you're making a movie, if you have the budget to afford Matt Damon, if you have the okay, let's put it like this: if you have the budget to afford Pepper Potts and the Martian guy, I'm sure you have the
Mhm.
budget to waste one cup of coffee. I hate
Yeah.
wasting food. I get it, but you're making a movie, man. There, you have to make the sacrifice.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can afford, like, I don't know, a Romba or any other vacuum or Dyson, so that you can vacuum it up after you drop the coffee. Come on, a Dyson is not that expensive, especially for someone who can afford to pay the Martian guy and Pepper Potts. Come on, man. I think I think the movie is that's what makes it all the way more confusing for me.
Okay.
There is lazy filmmaking like this, and then there is a lot of good research and a lot of good homework in coming up with positive pressure suits, R naught number, things like these.
Mm.
Really makes me think, maybe it's that they were constrained by time more than anything else. Making a 2 hour movie, there's only so much you can put in 2 hours.
Hmm.
What else did you notice in the movie? What else did you find was weird, funny, important, cool?
I like it just so I think if I feel like if the government asks everybody to watch Contagion,
People will
uh,
lose their
I
shit.
don't know, like people, yes, people would lose their shit, and ideally the government shouldn't. But there are many lessons that people could draw from that movie as to, at least instill a bit of awareness into them as to what could happen if this thing breaks out of control. So
I
I
actually don't
guess.
think anyone should watch Contagion because, especially right now, because the things are so bad. If you watch the movie, it's a movie. They have to take some creative liberties, and I think in because of taking those creative liberties, they have exaggerated a lot of things, which can only
Mhm.
mean more paranoia, more tension and more negativity for a lot of people, especially the people who are right now. Uh, I don't know. There's a lot of people that I know who are just telling me on Instagram, man, if this goes on for one more week, I'll go in depression.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, if
But the fact I felt is because actually in a magazine, the magazine's name is New Scientist.
okay, okay, okay.
In that, one of the author of that article had written, "Contagion doesn't skimp on science." And it's hard to name many Hollywood blockbusters that are as invested in the realities of science as Contagion. Although it is by no means flawlessly accurate, it's not a Nova documentary. Contagion has been well fact checked compared to most sciencey
I would
blockbusters.
agree on that. I would agree on that. In terms of getting the facts right, Contagion is definitely up there among one of the better movies.
Yeah.
Again, as I told you, they've done a lot of research. They have come up
Mm,
with a lot of cool scientific facts.
yeah.
In fact, not just scientific, socio-political as well. There's this time when this doctor, she catches the virus and she's sick, and the guy, the head of CDC, if I'm not wrong,
Yeah.
he says that okay, I'll try to at least get you back, and
Mhm.
he talks to this army guy, an army general or someone, and says, we have these flying pods, these airplanes which are specially treated in a way that they can carry patients. Why don't we use that to get her back? And he takes him aside and tells him, dude, there is a congressman who has been affected. The pod is being used to carry him right now. We can't use it to get her back. As sad as it is true. It is really true. Because
Okay.
tomorrow, in any time in the world, there is
Mm.
any time in the world, there's gonna be people who will be given more importance over you and me, the common man. Though we say we are a democracy and we say everyone is equal, but let's say, I don't know, the prime minister is dying and you are dying, and there is one doctor, he
Mm.
can treat one person. He'll probably treat the
Mm.
prime minister over you. Let's think about it. That's what
Mm.
every country does, right? Because the people of importance are there for a certain reason. If they
Yeah.
fall, uh, the country falls with them, or at least a huge chunk of the country does. For instance, White House has a lot of bunkers and everything under it, where they can keep the president safe in case of a war, in case of a nuclear war, in case of a lot of these adverse conditions. I'm sure you and me don't have such bunkers. You and me don't have a bulletproof car in which we travel that has, I don't know, air purifiers, is bomb proof, has uh, samples of our blood and a surgeon on hand. A, because we are not rich enough to afford those things, and B,
Yeah.
that's because if the president of USA dies, uh, that would be a huge setback, not just for USA but the whole of this world. I'm sure the economies across the world would definitely see a dip, if not completely collapse, if the president of United
Mm.
States dies, or is like attacked and is injured or something. The same is not
Mm.
true about you and me. That's
Yeah.
just the brutal fact which the movie states, that if a congressman or a president or prime minister or somebody of importance needs to be taken care of, it's all the priority is
Mm.
always going to go on him, not a common person, because um, as crude and cold-hearted as it sounds, the truth is the value that we add to the society is the value of our
Yeah.
lives.
Okay. Mhm.
I'm sure if it is
Okay.
just some congressman versus Elon Musk or Tim Cook or Bill Gates, then the congressman can go fuck himself. Then I'm
Mm.
sorry, the congressman will
Yeah.
have to wait. I think Elon Musk needs to be taken care of.
Mm.
So I think it is how much you bring to the table. What is your
Yeah.
contribution towards humanity as a species is how important your life is in times of a crisis. In general times, in normal times, in good times, yes, everyone is equal. Everyone's life is just as valuable. But I don't know. I think it's a philosophy question. I think it's a
Mm-hmm.
philosophy question. A lot of people would disagree on what I just said, and a
Yeah,
lot of
true
people
that.
would say, nope. Even in times of crisis, every life is just as important. You never know. A child can, 20 years from now, grow up and become the next Einstein. He could be, I don't know, the next Elon Musk, whatever. What do you know?
Yeah.
That is true. But today, if it is a 3-year-old child and Elon Musk, in terms of crisis, a lot of
Mm.
people would choose Elon Musk. I am definitely one of them.
Yeah.
That might paint me as a bad guy. I don't know. I think it's a difference of opinion that we as humanity will have a really hard time, coming together on one answer. I think on that. Till
Hmm.
then, I think all I can personally do is just pray that we never run into times where we have to make that decision.
So yeah, that I guess in terms of spreading the awareness as to how tough and how grave a contagion might be, the movie has done a good job. But other than that, okay, it was like a one-time watch movie.
It's okay. I don't think I would have watched it through and through if I didn't have to make the podcast. To be honest, I've written in my notes at 4:47. This is when the montage is about to get over, where all the Asian guys are getting killed. This is the point where I would have closed the movie. Let's be honest. If it
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
for the podcast, 4:47 is where the movie lost me.
Okay.
I really felt the whole montage was really rushed and really lazy filmmaking, and this is where I was like, yeah, it's another of those mediocre movies.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think, but people should watch it at least once.
I don't think so. I think if you have really run out of everything, by the way,
Then watch it.
yeah, if you have run out of everything, yes. If not, then it's okay. Like I think we already gave you all the spoilers that we could. I'm sure you already have a decent enough idea of what happens in the movie. So there's nothing left. If you already heard the podcast, you know everything that's gonna happen. So you
Yeah.
need to be really bored in order to watch this movie, man.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
True that.
What else, man?
Yeah, that's it. I'm right now. I don't know. Like I'm just watching the Mirzapur TV series
Okay.
Amazon Prime Video
Okay.
just so that I can get over the fact that I watched
Contagion.
Contagion
It's
night.
okay.
Yes.
I'm actually watching this old Hindi movie called Anand. I'm planning to do another
Oh.
episode of podcast on that. I think it's a brilliant hidden gem of a movie. Very few people talk about it for some reason. I think it's a brilliant
Mhm.
movie, man. It's quite an old movie,
Okay.
but anyhow, not giving a lot of spoilers for the podcast episode. Let's save it for the podcast.
Okay.
So yeah, man, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Anything
Cool.
you
Cool.
wanna say? Any closing words?
No. 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 Nothing. Just stay safe. Maintain social distancing. Take care of your health.
Yeah, stay indoors
That's
as much as possible. Don't go out if you don't have to. If you're in
it.
India, just don't go out at all because there's cases of police really going nuts on people who are going out right now. So I would recommend you stay indoors. Only go out if it is absolutely necessary. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Wash your hands.
Hmm.
Eat healthy. Work out if you can at home. If nothing, just climb stairs, climb down, climb up, and yeah, I think watch a lot of good movies and TV shows. Keep yourself engaged. Do everything that you always wanted to, but you didn't get the time to. Now is the time.
Just like Martin Scorsese is doing.
I don't know what is he doing.
I'm betting he will be probably watching. I don't know. You only told me that he watches 4 movies a day when he has got nothing to do.
I've heard that in an interview of his. He says ki I when I am not working on any movie, or when I'm not traveling, I'm watching 3 to 4 movies a day. That's really cool. I think you can do that. I don't know, whatever. Like there's whatever your hobbies are. You wanna paint, you wanna sing, you wanna dance. There's a lot of things you and me want to do, but we just don't get the time to because our lives are so busy. We have to travel so much. On an average, I've heard in Mumbai people commute at least an hour. On an average, people commute an hour. I'm sorry, in Mumbai. So I think just by not going to office, you're saving 2 hours a day, which should be enough to practice drawing, painting. I don't know the difference between drawing and painting, cooking,
Mhm.
singing, dancing, whatever your hobby is. Unless and until your hobby is, I don't know, playing an outdoor sports, you can practice your hobby now.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can, if your hobby is, I don't know, playing outdoor sports, you can explore new things, man. You can explore, if you love playing football, now is the time to download FIFA. Um,
Yeah.
if you used to work for Al Qaeda, now is the time to download PUBG.
Mhm. Yeah. So you could get your fingers rehearsed before the actual event comes.
In that case, I'm really happy that you are indoors. Just stay there.
Yes. Mm.
All the jokes aside, yeah, I think
Yes.
stay safe, wash your hands, practice your hobbies,
Mhm.
develop your skills, and be productive. If you're gonna sit at home and you're gonna think all day about how you can't go outside, it's gonna bring you depression and all negativity. But if you sit all day
True that.
indoors and think about what are the things I can do, how can I use this time righteously, then I'm sure there is a lot that you'll end up finding that you can do.
True that. True, true, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that terrible disappointment for someone, this podcast episode is over. I'll catch you up the next time. If you want me to do any specific movie, TV show, let me know in the, I don't know, whatever platform you're listening on. Let me know in the email. If your platform doesn't have a comment section, if it has a comment section, let me know in the comments. Just mail me up, and don't hesitate at all to hit me up and let me know how are you spending your quarantine time. Till then, guys,
Yeah.
take care.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.